Hey guys, welcome back to another restoremysneakers.com video. In this episode of sneaker hunting on eBay, I will be searching for the Air Jordan 5 in the Grape colorway. A lot of great submissions like the Concord 11s, the Columbia 11s, the 1999 Air Jordan 4 Retros in the cement colorway, Tiffany Dunks, Yeezys, but the one that came up the most was the Air Jordan 5 in the Grape colorway. With every sneaker hunt episode, we are going to build on the information from the previous video. So with this episode, I'm going to go a little more in-depth with keyword searching. Alright, so in the search box, I'm going to type in Jordan Grape. Now, and then you want to narrow it down to whichever size range that fits your category. For this, I'm going to click men's shoes. Now I end up with 134 results. You could narrow it down to a particular size that you're looking for. However, since there's only that many results, you may want to just search through them individually, because there's some cases where some sellers, they end up not putting the size in their description box, and not the description box, but in their category box for the size, and they usually end up putting the size inside the description box instead. So you might want to check that. Also, if you end up with a limited number of results, you may want to go all the way to the right hand side underneath the search button and click the box that says include description. And now that gives me 208 results. And when searching for shoes with keywords, you want to end up with more results, especially for shoes that don't really have a lot of results. In this case, the Jordan 5 Grape, it doesn't really pop up a lot like something current like the True Blue 3s. Now, again, whenever you're searching for shoes, if they're used, make sure, try to get an idea of what the condition really is on the shoes. You don't want to get the shoes and they end up looking worse than they are. And if you're one of those people that wants it to include the retro card and the box in good shape, make sure to check for pictures for those. If there's no pictures, be sure to contact the seller and try to get more pictures if possible. Now, this particular listing has a buy it now of $135, which is a great price. However, the shipping is $50. So don't get caught up in just clicking the buy it now when you see something. Always look at the shipping costs, because there are some sellers that raise the shipping costs just to cover their eBay and PayPal fees. And it's something that is really frowned upon, but unless you report them, nothing really happens. Now, obviously with used pairs, the insole gets worn. And if that's something that bothers you, be sure to check for pictures with the insoles. If they don't, you may want to ask. And it's usually a good thing to ask anyway, because sometimes some shoes get shipped out without the insoles. So be sure to ask for that. And this particular listing does not, I do see a box, but it may not be the original box, so check with the seller if a listing includes the original box and the retro card if it has one. And in terms of the size tag, this size tag is the correct tag for this shoe. If you see it in a different font, or if the font's really off, you might want to cross-reference it with another pair before considering to buy the item. Now obviously, because of keyword spam by other sellers, you will see other shoes that are not related to the Jordan Grape. Like for instance this Air Dozer Force. It's just because the seller decided to use the word grape in their title. Now obviously there's going to be buy it now prices with that are really up there. For instance, this one's at $449 plus 20 shipping, but it does have an auction price running. So as long as there's no reserve, you might have a chance to win it for way less than whatever that seller might be asking for. So includes the box. Another thing I want to point out about the Air Jordan 5s are the ankles. If you're purchasing them used, the ankles do get creased up, and if that's something that bothers you, you might want to just wait it out or try to search for another pair. Also, the midsole, especially in the heel, the paint tends to start flaking and cracking after a while. Usually if it does, the shoe probably was worn a lot of times. Another thing that I usually do is use the product number of a shoe to search. So either you can actually get the product number from the box label or the size tag of a shoe. If you don't know what the product number is, you can usually find a picture online or on eBay of the size tag or the shoe box itself, and it'll have the product number. So for the Grapes 2006 Retro, it's 314259131. Now if you're searching for the OG Grapes from 1990, obviously the product number is going to be different, so you might want to search for pictures of the original version and see if you can find some size tags for that shoe. So now I'm going to take the product number and put it into the keyword search. Now I'm going to remove men's shoes because that just narrows things down. You want to end up with more results. And make sure that you include description. Now the reason for this is because some sellers, they may not know anything about shoes. All they might know is it's an Air Jordan. They may not know it's a Jordan 5 or its nickname is the Grape. And having the include description checked in actually helps, because that means that they have it somewhere written in their description box that, you know, it's model number or product number, this thing. This is actually helpful for like a lot of vintage sneakers or sneakers that are, you know, that came out like maybe in the past 10 years. And again, like things I pointed out, the soles, the yellow, the netting, the ankle, and paint chipping. So make sure to look out for those types of things. And when it comes to purchasing the Grapes, in my personal opinion, I wouldn't spend more than $260, $270. Anything beyond that, you know, I'll probably wait it out until an opportunity arises. And speaking of that, you may search for a certain shoe at the moment and not have any results come up. So let's say like if you find the Grapes but you don't find them in your size. You might want to check again later in the evening or maybe the next day. I tend to keep a routine where I search on eBay for just whatever shoes in the morning, and then I'll check at night before I go to sleep. And I'll put them in and I'll actually save them on my watch list. And my particular watch list, I don't know if this applies to everybody, I'm able to save or watch about 180 items on eBay. And after that, I usually keep tabs of what's ending on a particular day or at what time. In some cases, a lot of the items end when I'm at work, so I'm usually not able to bid on those items. Unless you have and obviously for my reason it's because I don't have a phone or a service that allows me to go online during those times at work. And when I'm at work, I'm doing my work. Now I know I don't really touch on price point. In the past, I was able to get a pair of Grapes for under $200 shipped. Actually, my first pair, I was actually able to get that for $165 shipped a year after it was released. Obviously, both pairs were used, but they were in really good shape. Now, I think a lot of people were expecting for the Grape and Laney pack to release, so they thought the 2006 Retro would actually drop in price, but as of lately, I'm starting to see them for over $300 and into the $400 range. Now, if that's a price that you're comfortable paying, then, you know, go for it. But me personally, I wouldn't pay more than $250, $275 for a dead stock pair. there are times, like I mentioned, where there is a seller that might not know anything about the shoes and might end up throwing up the shoes for a buy it now of $200. Now that would actually be pure luck. But if everything clears out, you know, definitely go for it. Those are those types of things that you want to be confident in knowing about the shoe, whether it's legit or not, is it a great deal, or is the seller legit, has a good feedback rating. Now the point that I'm trying to get across is that everyone has a price point. Now a lot of people left suggestions on our previous video, like, hey, find some Jordan 11s for under 200, like the Concords or the Black Red 11s. Now I'm not going to say that it's impossible to find them for that price. The thing is, usually in that price range, the shoes end up, usually in that price point, the shoes are usually used. If you're able to find a dead stock pair for that price and everything is clear with the seller and the shoes are legit, go for it. Those are things that you do not hesitate. Those are things you do not hesitate on. You go for it. Now, if it's used, you need to determine if the shoes are satisfactory to your standards. If they look really well worn, you know, I wouldn't think that would be a good deal. But if it's like gently used and say like the price is $180, something that, or if the shoe's restorable, that's something that you might want to consider. Alright, some notable suggestions that we got. Somebody asked, like, hey, try to find some OG Jesus sandals, and that actually got me going for a good while. Another thing was find some Skechers. And actually yesterday I did find some Skechers, the shape-ups in the men's sizes at Ross for $32. So if that's something that you're searching for, or you're trying to get it for somebody as a gift or something, you might want to check out Ross or Marshalls for that price. So just like last time, in the comment section below, let us know what shoe you want us to hunt for next in our next episode. Be sure to be specific in terms of what model or colorway. And also try to make sure that it's just one shoe that you're suggesting. So there you have it. That's sneaker hunting on eBay for the Air Jordan 5 in the Grape colorway. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to stay tuned for our next episode.